The 4 ingredients for building a microclimate.
I'm following you on TikTok.
Really?
You start making it cool enough to keep stuff alive if you don't have stuff to make it cool enough to keep stuff alive.
So here's the thing, right? In Hotland, Arizona, you literally need to make man-made shade, right? So it's going to be your shade cloth. If you're starting out new and you want to continue growing and planting more big trees and stuff like that, I do not recommend putting a permanent shade structure. Just do something super simple. I'm going to talk about the Moringa tree heavily today because it's.
You love it?
I love it. I use that to build my microclimate. Those suckers, they grow about 25 to 30 feet a growing season. My guys, I chop them down to maybe 2.5 foot from the ground, and then another 25 feet. I normally chop it down in mid-March.
Do they drop a lot of leaves?
They do, but the good thing about the leaves is they're good mulch, and everything about that tree, it has vitamin A through Z. We eat everything, literally. The flowers, my husband, he loves them in scrambled egg. It has a peppery taste. It's delicious. And then the leaves, you can pick them, dry them, and then you can blend them, or you can put the fresh one in your smoothie. And if you want, you can even put them in your salad, stir fry. But the only thing is, if you guys are newly introduced to that and it's your first time trying it, just remember the first week, you will be visiting the bathroom quite a bit. Now, I do have to warn, for people who are expecting, just, talk to their doctors beforehand. I planted along the perimeter of my garden, so I had 8 to begin with. So it's literally 1 every 8 to 10 feet. And when it grew, it literally created a canopy over my garden.
How long does it take to grow a seed?
It depends on your backyard. So if you get full blasting sun, you can get flowers and fruit within the year. Yes.
After cutting down every year?
Their branches are really brittle. So a gust of wind will just take it down. And plus, you don't want to be in trouble with your neighbors, if everything knocks over. And I learned that the hard way because it snapped and flew right into my neighbor's yard.
Do you fertilize? Do you fertilize or nothing? You
Nope.
just let it ride?
So they're not picky on the soil. They don't require any fertilizing. Okay guys, so again, I apologize. I had a pamphlet with colors ready, but I ran out of ink. So it's just gonna be, I'm just gonna highlight the 4 sections or the 4 ingredients for building a microclimate. So how did I get it? Sorry, see, I'm losing. It's funny because my day job, I'm a teacher. So I'm a special ed teacher. Writing IEPs, they were 25 to 30 pages long. So it was super stressful, and I turned to gardening. Before it was cheap therapy, but now it is not cheap, let me tell you, because I have a food forest. On a it's only 900 square foot. That's it. So this brings us to building a microclimate. So within that 900 square feet, I divide it into separate sections. You have to start small, and that's what I tell everybody. Anyhoo, so I gave you guys this sheet. Hopefully everybody got one. So these are the 4 components to build a microclimate, right? So if you guys have, say, a tomato plant, right, in the middle of your yard that gets Arizona sun in the afternoon, if you guys are not going to build anything to protect that, how long do you think that tomato is going to last?
Not very long.
Not that long. So a microclimate is you make sure you alter your area to help your plant survive. That's basically what it is. The first thing you need to do is observe. In the wintertime, the sun goes this way. It's literally sideways. And then in the summertime, it's directly right on top of us. So the morning sun from 6 all the way to 10 o'clock, it's easy breezy. Everybody can survive. 10:30 and on, you better get some shade. If you don't get that, they're gonna just fry. So you need to observe where your sun is. That's our first thing, and take notes. Whenever somebody asks me to do a consultation or to look at their backyard, I say, take 3 pictures for me. one at 8 o'clock, one at 12 because that's like burning hot, one at 5 o'clock, and track the spot where you want to plant anything. As for the sun, your tomatoes, your peppers, your eggplant, those all need at least, everybody says 6 to 8, but here in Hotland, Arizona, 4 to 6 is fine. So if it gets it from that 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., that is perfectly fine. It will flower for you. So we have implementing change. How do I build a microclimate ahead of time? Because I don't even know what plant I want, right? It's forever changing. It is forever changing. So if you want to put up a shade structure, don't go hire yourself a fancy welder, because I guarantee you that area does not need to be shaded anymore. If you were to grow, say, a moringa tree, a mulberry tree, or what's another good one? A fig tree, because it's going to get super tall super fast, because all those trees, they do really well here in Arizona. And then it's gonna shade everything. Then you're gonna cry about spending all that money. Again, changes, forever changing. Every year for me. Every year I add a new plant, or I add a big tree, and then I'll be taking something out, or I'll remove half of something. I started out my garden with 8 moringa trees along the perimeter so it can create that canopy. Now I'm down to 2 because it already served its purpose. Because now I have 3 mulberry trees. If I were to keep those 8 moringa trees, I wouldn't have any sun. So that's what I mean by forever changing. Planting strategy. If your garden is facing east, right? It's facing east because the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Here's the sun, here's the plant, and here is your tree. So what you want to do is you want to put your plants or your veggie box right here, and then you want the tall tree or your house right here. Because when the sun goes to the west side, you don't want that western exposure, because it's going to literally send your plant to heaven. So you want it, yeah. So I was like, so I mean, you can.
You want the tree shading the afternoon sun, but getting the
morning sun. Yep. If you're gonna put your tomatoes afternoon, give it some shade. Berries. How many of you guys are growing berries? Strawberries. So the strawberries, I mean, pill bugs are your #1 killers of strawberries because they love it. The birds will come when you let it overripe, because I don't know if you guys notice, it does produce a scent. It's super sweet. And it allures the birds. For us, I mean, we may not be able to smell it that well, but they can smell it from a mile away. Just pick it a little bit earlier and just stick it inside. Don't be one of those gardeners that, oh, I need to pick it right when they're super ripe because that's when it tastes better. Well, guess what? You're not going to get to eat it. So just pick it. Tomatoes are #1. Pick them, put them in a brown bag, and stick them on your counter.
Yeah, that was my problem the first time I ever tried tomatoes. When it got nice and red, I said, oh, I got red. And the birds, I think, sucked all the inside out. They ate. I mean,
Oh yeah.
It was just this little red skin hanging.
Certain things, you guys, just remember, if you're gonna grow, just expect a couple of tears, throughout your growing season. Anywho, so monitor and adjust. Again, this goes to show that everything changes every year. Also, if you live in an HOA, that changes as well, right? Because if your tree grows a little too big, then you're gonna get a letter, you're gonna have to chop it down. So guess what? There goes that shade in that area. So you have to be really mindful of what you grow and what your association, or like for me, our vice president lives right behind me. But yeah, but just be mindful of all those stuff. Again, it just changes. You just got to go with the flow. Other than that, thank you so much. And you guys have been awesome. Thank you. Oh my God.
I totally TikTok famous.
Oh, there you go.
You in the middle.
Okay.
I just want to thank you so much. I came for my wife. She wanted to come, but she was under the weather.
Oh.
And so I came, but her name is Lucinda
Okay.
and she follows you and everything. So I'm going to have her ask questions, but I try to take as much notes as I could. That's why I recorded it.